Looks like we're live.
Okay, we are live on the Ripple Effect for all our fans out there. And I'm excited to have Shelley Golden, really a Zoom makeover expert and expert in upgrading your image, be it online or in person, to get that look that you want. And we have had her on the show. It's been a while, so we're looking forward to having her back. And I have my esteemed co-host Erika Gimbel, who looks like she's made over as well on her own. But how are you doing, Erika?
This is after swimming hair. I just want you to know that. I have not had a makeover lately, and I do really enjoy talking to Shelley. So excited that she's coming on and to be with us and give us her exciting updates. And how are you, David Kirsten?
I'm good. I'm kind of refreshed. So I feel good, and yeah, I,
Refreshed? What? What does that mean?
I'm just kind of took a few days to recollect and not do as much work so I can get rested and um look at my priorities going into the holidays. So I'm kind of looking forward to the podcast winding down and then taking that winter break, because I feel like I always get a lot of kind of pivoting or regrouping done over the holidays in terms of getting ready for 2022. So we're doing that session later with Corey about getting ready for 2022. So that kind of put me in that mode. So kind of leave the past in the past and move forward, with the courage and determination, so to speak.
You got to love those 4-day weekends for sure, at least coming up next week, for the starters for the holidays.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
definitely. The holidays are exciting. It's definitely fun with the girls. And, Halloween is really the first holiday. And then we have Thanksgiving, and, we go to the fish hatchery up there in Sacramento. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also going up to Tahoe and do some skiing and stuff. So yeah, kind of a fun time. Yeah.
Sounds great.
But yeah, Erika, we're gonna invite you up there to do some skiing too. So
I can't wait. I'm a yes. I'm a yes.
okay. Okay, good. Um, Shelley, are you a skier?
I started very late in my life and ended up about 8 years, 7 years ago. I tore my ACL in a lovely ski accident and had to be toboggan down the hill. And I ended up just not getting it repaired. Doesn't seem to bother me. So I think the end of my downhill ski days that have probably only lasted for about 8 years is over. But I'm game for cross country. That I like.
Yeah, yeah, that's good exercise too. It looks like we'll have some snow too, but
I love
um,
cross country skiing. It's so peaceful.
yeah,
And
Royal Gorge, that resort's incredible. They have a few of them closed down because we had so many of these dry years, like some of the smaller ones. But anyway, Eric, I did want to ask if you had a testimonial for how you and Shelley know each other, because you guys actually knew each other before I met Shelley when she visited our B&I a while ago.
yes, yes, I do have a testimonial of working with Shelley, and I have a great I love to connect people up. So it was so much fun to bring you over to the our BNI chapter and unleash you upon all the people. And like the week or two after, everybody started to do stuff, and it was just really fun to see what people were doing with their backgrounds. And yeah, I highly recommend getting to work with you, Shelley. And for I can't wait to hear what you're going to say about the organizations that you're serving. So it's on a larger scale. You can work with companies and organizations and have everybody updo and upgrade. So I highly recommend working with Shelley Golden, and it's just fun and easy to work with you and to implement the tips. I mean, in the course of this little interview, I can switch my background so you can all see what I've done, because this is not a very fancy background what's happening here. This is just where I was before seeing a client, before a therapy client. But I do really think about what's going on in this box after working with you. And when when it's something that it's like more of I have to be a little more upgraded, I do it. And I'll put on the makeup, and I haven't really done the thing with the thing like that.
Oh,
So not
around the chin line.
but I love everything I learned from you, and it was great to play with you and the ladies who came on to do the work with you. And you do also work with men. So let's get more into this interview. And oops,
you're welcome to kick us off, Erika. Yeah.
You know what? Something again weird is happening with my computer. So let's see what's happening here. Is this taking me out of there? Or am I still on with you guys?
I still see you.
You look okay. You look like you saw a ghost, but other than that.
Okay, something just happened. So hold on a second. I am so confused by what's happening with my computer right now. Okay. So I'm back with you. Okay. So tell us from the beginning, Shelley, about what you do and how you got into it, because we love to hear your story.
Oh, it's actually kind of a pretty crazy story. I 2.5 months before COVID moved down to the peninsula, and I went to some new networking group that was down in the peninsula, met a woman who was a business coach, and she's like, hey, let's do a workshop together, thinking an in-person workshop. Well, our first day to talk about it was the day California closed for COVID. So I said, well, hey, that's not a problem for me. I could help people feel confident and look their best in their Zoom box. And it was so well received that people really thought it was this great idea, that they were getting so much help, that I realized, hey, I think I need a page on my website for this. And it's blossomed into this crazy, crazy business that I've been driving to across the country. I've been working with companies, organizations, law firms, sales teams, and as well as working with individual professionals to really help them up their game. And that's kind of how it started. And now with COVID continuing and our new normal, should I say, of this hybrid, some people work from home, some people work from the office, but usually on Zoom, it's more important than ever to create a look that helps you engage with people. So I help people transform their Zoom space to elevate their confidence, that they know that they look really great, elevate their brand if it's a company or if your business, and intentionally project a look that feels good. And my aim is that it really feels like you and I are just sitting across the table having a conversation.
Fabulous. I mean, would that be helpful as we're talking today for me to show you my different backgrounds just for fun? Because some of them Shelley has worked on with me and some of them not, but it's always fun to see what you say about it.
Sure. I'm always game.
That'd be cool.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So our next question officially is what do you see are the common mistakes you see with people in their Zooms and their presence?
Kind of when they
and maybe
when they just try to do it themselves. And I know she has some slides for us we were looking at before we joined. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to just say the top 2 common mistakes. First one, and David, you know this, it's all about the lighting. It's the lighting and the camera angle. Those are the 2 most important aspects of or mistakes. If you are in the dark, if you have a window behind you, you're going to be backlit. You need to have the light on your face so that it feels like they could see your face, and you want to have it evenly lit, both left and right, the same amount of light. We're not creating a painting here. We're not creating dramatic effect, so we have lighting on half the face. You really want to have your face lit up because, again, as I say, you want to make it feel like you're just sitting across the table. And then the second one is really your positioning. I mean, so often people are down here. But one of the interesting things I find is there's a difference between men and women. Actually, Stanford University did a study on Zoom fatigue. And when this was published in March, I was all over it. And one of the things that they found out, one of the big results they found out, is that women, first of all, are more fatigued than men. But women also sit up straighter in the center of their Zoom box. So they're more present. Whereas men, yeah, they kind of sit back a little bit and, they do that, I'm in my throne, in my throne look. So there's actually a difference on how women present themselves and how men present themselves. But you really want to take up the center third of the Zoom box, because it's not about what's around you, it's you. And you want people to be able to see, yes, Erika, thank you. You also want people to see, and Erika and David both know this, you want them to see your torso so they can kind of read your nonverbal. If you're just like a head and neck, you're in people's face and they can't really read what's going on. And it takes more cognitive effort to think about what are they really saying, because I can't read their nonverbal body language. So lighting and positioning are the two most important aspects of showing up on Zoom.
Yeah, that's so key. And that just made me think about some of the better Zoom interactions that I have. And that is a big key thing. If you're both like kind of there locked in terms of I feel like you connect so much better than if somebody is really their heads down at the lower side and their back, there's not the same connection. So it's hugely impactful. Of course, in person, we connect even better in sometimes, but I think there's so much about Zoom and doing it well that can benefit everyone. So very well put. And I love your, we're actually going to look at some of your slides, because it's really night and day what you do and the difference it can make. I even see on a lot of the networks, watching network news, some of these shots are just so bad too, because, with cameras and things, you really want to make sure your skin texture is okay. And some camera things can make people's, other details look very ugly too. So you really need somebody to kind of monitor and like have a second or third check that you provide.
Exactly. Would you like me to share some of my before and afters?
Yeah.
Okay, so here is one. This is I'm going to, this was one of the very first ones I did, in the first couple months of the shutdown. And you could see very clearly here, in the before picture, we're looking up at the ceiling. The elephant in the room was that incredible glare, and she was pretty dark. So we changed the camera angle, but as I said, lighting is so important. So that glare coming in that window, when I work with people, I do really simple, practical changes. I had her put 3 pieces of white printer paper in the window, and that got rid of the glare. And if you look on her forehead, there's also another glare on her forehead because there's another window in front of her. So she had her kid's art project on pink construction paper. I'm like, yeah, put that in the window. It pinked her up. We gave her, she ordered some additional lighting, and that we talked about clothing and we were positioning some pots behind her, but you can engage with her. You're not looking up the ceiling. You're not looking up at her nose. I want to share another one with you. This is a more recent one that I was working with. I partner with a number of business coaches, and she works with a business coach, and my Zoom Makeover package is just part of her package with the business coach. But you could see in this one, it was a total transformation. Mind you, the bicycles are still in the room. We moved the furniture, but when I worked with her, we changed the camera angle. I gave her the links. Here, click on this link, order these lights. We measured the wall in the back. We found a plant. Here's the link. Click on this link, order this plant. We ordered some furniture. She got a painting. what color clothing worked best in her space. And we created this lovely home office in what was her storage room of her apartment. And this is the type of engagement that I really love doing, and helping people elevate how they show up to increase engagement. And when you're looking at it, again, bicycles are still in the room, it still acts as her storage room. We created the illusion of a lovely home office. So that's what I'm doing, whether I'm working with individuals. Also, if I'm working with companies, sometimes I'll do this as a group, a small group of groups of 5 within a company, or give lots of presentations, and I show a lot of before and afters. But really, the premise of what I'm doing is helping people feel more confident in their Zoom space, that they look and feel professional, and it's easier to engage with them.
Yeah, it really can change the whole interaction on both sides. I mean, you, for example, I love how that's your actual house. That's not a Zoom background that you have. So you have yours just really dialed in. And when you have both people kind of on the same, that you feel good about your background and how the Zoom box, especially if it's a new person that you're meeting, that it kind of all goes together, I think. And whereas if somebody's not as happy, like, oh, I'm too dark, or then they just feel that a different way. So to really present yourself best, you want to feel good about it. And you can, that's why you change. I've seen the change in people when they get this new Zoom background, that they start, it's almost like a totally different person. So
It's kind of like walking into a room wearing something like really nice that you look awesome in, and you walk into the room differently versus walking in your everyday clothes. You walk in differently. So if you look good, you're gonna act accordingly.
Yeah, which is, we're gonna get to that too, because Shelley also does a lot of other things in style, but I did want to see if Erika had any comments.
Well, yeah, I want to hear the next part, Shelley, about the branding work you're doing, getting into personal and professional branding. And before you do, you see, I know I'm breaking some taboos because I have this funky light in my background. And at the same time, this is this has been one of my settings where I run like BNI meetings when I was the president in my chapter. So I kind of like this crazy background I have here, and it's a little creative and funky. And see, I have some air plants in the back, but I know I'm breaking some taboos by
being in front of a window.
We're not going to call the Zoom police on you.
Don't call the Zoom police on me.
You have so many great backgrounds at your house that are just natural. So
yeah, but I've really gotten to play with it, and it's all because I got to do this work with Shelley of this class. And so okay, tell us about your personal and professional branding, and who's your ideal client with that.
Okay, so oops, did I just close you out?
No, you're still here.
I'm still here. Okay, I was closing off some things. Okay, so I've been a professional presence, image consultant, personal branding, image consultant, on and off my entire adult life. So that's kind of my gift, is I really know and understand how to work with people with the body they have and how they want to show up. So I always ask 2 questions. How do you want to show up in the world? And who do you want to attract? And that says so much. If young people want to attract this type of person, so they dress a certain way. Other people dress a certain way because they want to attract different people. So depending upon who you want to attract, I'm a certified color consultant. I actually used to teach history of costume at a fashion design school and designed costumes for theater. So I know construction, historically, how things have progressed over the millennium. But when I'm working with people individually on elevating their brand, I really do a deep dive into, again, who do they want to be? How do they want to show up? I I work with them on their colors. What's the best color that attracts people to you? What's your body shape? What are you a little embarrassed about? Sometimes I call myself the queen of camouflage. Now, some people have got a little camouflage action here. Sometimes it's, over here. Sometimes it's in the back. So how do we camouflage what needs to be camouflaged? So that, again, that when you walk into that room, you feel really confident that your wardrobe the whole wardrobe works for you. You don't open the closet and go, oh shit, what am I going to wear today? So many people open it up, they have the oh shit moment, and then they go to the same 2 or 3 go-to pieces. So what are those go-to pieces? What do you like about it? How does it make you feel? And I help people create a wardrobe that they love everything in it, that they can dress things up, and I teach them how to work with their wardrobe, what works for their body, for their colors, for the people that they want to attract. And it's very powerful, and it gives you the authority and the confidence to really move forward in your life, and it creates a brand. And what is a brand? The way people remember you.
Yeah, I would just say, I know in video and marketing, the first 3 or 4 seconds are so important. That first impression, that if you don't walk up to that stage, kind of comfortable and confident, that's one thing. But if you can actually make that a positive, that really sets such the tone for everything you're going to do before you even open your mouth, so to speak. And, for like those business meetings, and, all the types of events that you're working on. Tell us a little bit about some of those new exciting projects that you're working on with some teams and some attorneys as well.
Yeah. So this Zoom makeover business has really evolved. I was working, and I still love working with individuals, but I'm now working with sales teams, since, this is our new normal, the new Zoom normal. People they're not making all the calls. They're not doing all the sales trips that they had been doing, but yet they know they need to, okay, I guess this is where we're going to be. So I'm working with sales teams to help them create a branded background so that they look confident, kind of transforming their Zoom box, their Zoom space. And so everything's intentional: the lighting, the background, the positioning, what color clothing works best on them. Even for women, I have Zoom specific makeup techniques. We talk about sound, and I work with people very specifically. This is the lighting that would work best. This is camera. This is the microphone. Creating a Zoom space. So I'm working with sales teams. I'm really excited. I'm going to be getting an article published in the California Lawyers Association litigation section in their journal in February. 5 ways to optimize optimize video for Zoom depositions. So I've been working with attorneys who are no longer going to be going, to different places for all their depositions, and I can work with the attorney, the deponent, the expert witness, how they show up on Zoom depositions, and I can create whatever look the attorney wants. If you have somebody and you want them to be kind of the girl next door look, I can create the girl next door look. If you want kind of the highfalutin, tough professional, I can create that. So, it's a little bit of set decoration, a little bit of costume design, a little bit of lighting director, and also how do you show up, kind of the overall creative, set designer.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I bet you'd help actors and people in theater. Is that something you're open to?
I am. I actually have been working with people who are making video podcasts, online courses, people who are speakers. They're part of Toastmasters, National Speakers Association, because, they're not getting together as much. and they're speaking in their Zoom box, as I always call it, and how to create the look that you want to create, that's pleasing and not distracting. One of the things I always try to do is eliminate all these little shiny penny distractions, which sometimes can be like books at all different angles. So I try to get all the books lined up, and
I'll go ahead.
And I also use when I lived in Amsterdam for 10 years, I studied European painters, in particular the Dutch masters, and they always used lines of perspective. So where does your eye look first? Where is the focal point? And then where does it go next? And that's what I do. So even in my little Zoom setup, I have 2 intersecting lines right at my eyes. I have little round flowers, round glasses, round hardware, corner of the cabinet. There's a diagonal tic-tac-toe with my eyes in the middle. And that's very intentional. And then I have a rectangular plane down here and one up here, again, with my eyes in the middle. Then your eye, so you're meeting at my eyes, then your eye gets gravitated down my neckline. So you are forced to look at my torso, which stands out in the foreground of my Zoom space because I have a really busy space. But this way, this is how I work with people in designing an intentionally like balanced, kind of like balancing art and psychology so that people can focus on you.
Perfect. And I did just think of a little tidbit that I think a lot of times these finer details are what can make all the difference in something memorable. For example, changing their glasses or the earrings, if they want to convey a bit more elegance, or, the clothes. And I think most people, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know the ability to use those tools. So I think it's so valuable to have somebody like you who can kind of give them those additional ideas, but also be that kind of check on them. I don't know. I don't have the best word for that, but you're kind of part of like a mastermind of helping them accomplish what they want to accomplish, but they don't know how.
Right. It's kind of like hiring a financial advisor. You don't know how to do it. They do, but you need it. So this is the same thing. Actually, I like what you say, David. You don't know what you don't know, because I encounter that all the time. People think they look fine, but once I work with them, it's usually a wow. Or people, after working with people, they get comments of, wow. I did get people noticing that I looked better. I looked more like they could engage with me more. It was just easier to talk to me. You're not looking up anyone's noses, and you're not looking at the ceiling, and you're eliminating distractions, and the lighting's good. So that's what I aim to do. I'm really here to serve people, and I'm kind of on a mission to help people show up, in their Zoom box looking good, feeling confident.
Excellent. And I do know that a lot of people also don't have a background in color that I see, colors that go together, so maybe hair and eyeshadow, and then, you have that colorful painting in the background. So these colors are so valuable in the kind of how engaging something is. So that's something that you can really help with, what colors look best on them and what they're trying to show. So we are just about at time. I know Erika had to jump off to talk to her business coach, but I did want to just ask for your closing statement, so to speak, on who your ideal client is in terms of like your 30 to 60 second pitch there.
Okay. It's pretty broad, but right now I'm really looking. I've been working with small to medium businesses and helping them elevate their brand, how they show up, as well as sales teams, because that's huge. Just working with sales trainers, sales teams, to elevate everybody how they show up, and also litigators, attorneys. as I mentioned, it's not just for the attorney during the deposition, it's for the attorney, the deponent, the expert witness. How do they show up to create a more trustworthy, credible appearance? And those are really good clients for me to work with.
Excellent. And you do have a few politicians I hear that you work with.
Yep.
Or have. So those folks I think need it as well. So
Mm-hmm.
great to have you as part of our power team, so to speak. And we look forward to keeping in touch with you and having you back sometime next year to continue to carry the message. And great to work with you, and have a good holiday season.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun to talk to you, David. And Erika, thanks so much when you see this in the end.
Thank you. And Erika just wanted me to announce something about a Mevo swim team. I'll put the link in the chat. So with that, we're going to sign off on the Ripple Effect. Thanks, Shelley. Have a great day. I'm going to put all your comment links and how to get in touch with you in the comment section soon. So have a good one, and bye,
Ciao.
everyone. I got to